Recently, Lex Fridman had the current CEO of OpenAI on his podcast, and he was deeply concerned regarding AI safety and potential negative implications on humankind. During this long conversation, we got to learn a lot about Chat GPT 4 and its predecessors, which filled us with concern, but there are also things to be excited about. Today, we're going to review the main points made and offer our own opinions on what both Lex and Sam Altman had to say. As the interview starts, the two begin discussing the current ongoing discovery process, and Sam admits that they are expecting to run into issues that do not fit the data, for which they will have to look for potential solutions as and when they come. That, of course, is true within any new project or a branch of science, but if the developers aren't being careful and mistakes are being made, this could have severe negative impacts on humanity, and AI takeover cannot be ruled out, even if all precautions are taken. At around a 24-minute mark, Sam Altman presents a point. Our degree of alignment increases faster than our rate of capability progress. The importance of this fact is only going to become more paramount. What he is saying is that we must make AI align with our human values and work with us in a positive manner rather than try it and get ahead, eliminating the need for human presence. This is both terrifying and reassuring at the same time, as the developers clearly recognize the power of Chat GPT and potential cases where it could get out of hand, but by acknowledging this, let's hope that they will take extra precautions with safety protocols. Sam then also admits that they have not yet found a way to align this powerful system, but at the current scale of Chat GPT, reinforcement learning from human feedback protocol, or otherwise known as RLHF, should keep it within control. Keep in mind though, Chat GPT platform is an early iteration of AI that's available to the public, and its scale is bound to increase exponentially. Sam seems to believe that both the previously mentioned alignment and the AI model's learning capabilities are closely intertwined and are of huge importance to each other for future development. The pair then goes on to discuss whether large language models, or otherwise known as LLMs, are the way for humanity to build artificial general intelligence, the ability for AI to replicate problem-solving skills that we as humans possess. Altman seems to think that ChatGPT could be part of the solution, but there are still limitations to the model, and the GPT paradigm must be expanded on, with OpenAI still searching for ideas on how to do so. Even without ever successfully building an AGI, he believes that humanity can benefit from platforms such as ChatGPT and considers enhancing human abilities by improving efficiency of research, data processing, and accuracy, as well as automating certain tasks, a huge win. A few minutes later, Lex brings up Elias Yudkowsky's view that AI is likely to sooner or later destroy all of humanity. He is rather concerned about this, and Altman emphasizes that the importance of acknowledging this issue to ensure that enough effort is put into it to prevent Yudkowsky's predictions, though he considers them to have logical flaws. Now this is rather scary, and we only have one chance to get it right with AI, or else we may just be doomed. At around the hour mark, Lex brings up his rightful concerns about the take-up speed of ChatGPT and AI implementations that could lead to AGI developments. He proposes that the safest way to create an AGI would be to do it slowly and gradually, rather than for it to be rushed, which would help to avoid the negative consequences. It's a valid point, and one that we agree with, but with the public having access to ChatGPT and potentially in the future other similar chatbots, who is to say that someone will not try to break the system in order to make a huge short-term financial gain at the expense of all of our safety? Our view is that the developers must slow drip the features and access to the public, whilst also being considerate of their own progress, not turning a blind eye to any safety concerns. Soon after that, Lex inevitably asks the question that all of us want some insight to: what could go wrong with artificial intelligence? In his response, Altman acknowledges the fact that people have fears about AI, and he does not dismiss them. Instead, he states that people should be somewhat fearful. In fact, he is a little worried himself. Sam is worried about AI being used as a weapon for disinformation, as well as creating economic shocks. Keep in mind, we already are in a global recession, and AI could scale that up further. He also reveals that there may be issues that we can't possibly be expecting at the moment, and these issues may be something that we are not ready to deal with, or are prepared to deal with. Altman believes that potential issues such as disinformation do not require superintelligence, but could be further exacerbated by AI. He then brings up Twitter and refers to the issues it has had in the past, and to an extent is still having, for example bots influencing the platform. He believes that if a language learning model was to control the flow that we have on the platform, we may not even realize it's doing so. Have you seen the Mid-Journey generated pictures of the Pope wearing something that you may see on a Balenciaga fashion show? AI will soon be able to make photos indistinguishable from reality. You may then ask how that will impact disinformation. The importance of having verified sources will be essential in the fight back against it. The OpenAI CEO then raises his concerns about other open source LLMs that could be potential competitors to Chat GPT entering the market. Their aims and goals may differ to those that Chat GPT developers are working towards. Their ethics and approach may be different too, therefore safety may not be their first concern. By raising this last point, is Altman subtly pointing towards OpenAI having to move quickly in the development process? Seems as though they believe that not all competitors may prioritize AI alignment as much as they do. This could potentially have huge negative implications on humanity, just like Eliza Yudkowsky's views have predicted. Perhaps regulation is key here, but how do we impose regulations on something that we have never dealt with before? We may not even be able to comprehend its abilities, and therefore the future regarding AI is very uncertain to say the least. Natural progression of the interview then led Lex Fridman to ask questions regarding prioritization of safety in the face of adverse competition, alignment, and other ethical pressures. Sam Altman goes on to say that he and his team are going to stick with what they believe in and they are not going to take shortcuts, but he does not expect their competition to behave the same. The fight over who makes the AGIs is going to bring in variety, and the market isn't going to be dominated by OpenAI or any one other company, as people will approach the task in different ways. Sam believes that creative variety is important and it will bring different ideas as to how AGIs can be implemented into our lives. Sam then claims that OpenAI are not in this to capture unlimited value, and therefore it's not about capital gains for them, but he is worried that there will be those that are in it to make a quick buck. He is uncertain and worried about this, but is hopeful that other players in the market will approach AGI creation cautiously. To be honest, that does not fill us with confidence on the issue, and it seems as though there is no current way to ensure people's safety as the forefront of AGI creation. Greedy and power-hungry people are more than likely to be corrupted by the abilities that AI can bring, and therefore the future of AI implementation is uncertain even in the eyes of the leaders in the industry. If the alarm bells are not ringing in your head yet, they should be, as this is a great cause for concern. Having been asked about moving from non-profit to a cap profit organisation, Sam Altman had this to say: "We needed some of the benefits of capitalism, but not too much." Clearly, Chat GPT does need some financial influx to continue development, but their CEO does not believe that it's absolutely essential. Their goal is not to make Chat GPT a cash cow. He is on the other hand concerned about the incentives of capitalism to create and capitalize on unlimited value, but he does remain hopeful that people who are in this industry or will enter it in the future aren't entering it blindly and understand the power they're wielding. No one's goal is to destroy the world. He also refers to the Moloch problem but reassures Lex that they are aware of it, and implies that healthy conversations about how they can collaborate to minimize some of these scary downsides are necessary. For those that are unaware, let's quickly go over what the Moloch problem is. This refers to a situation where a group of people, each acting in their self-interest, end up collectively making decisions that are harmful to everyone in the group. An example provided to us by ChatGPT itself would be that of many fishermen that all fish in the same lake. Each fisherman wants to catch as many fish as possible, acting in their own self-interest. Instead of doing so in a sustainable way, they instead start using large nets and other unpermitted fishing techniques that eventually harm the lake's ecosystem. Over time, there is very little fish left in the lake and the ecosystem has been destroyed, which in turn hurts all of the fishermen. In this scenario, each individual fisherman acted rationally in pursuing their own self-interest, but collectively they ended up causing harm to themselves as well as the rest of the fishermen that use the lake. In simple terms, the Moloch problem is there to warn against the dangers of pursuing individual gain at the expense of collective good. Going back to the interview now, Sam mentioned the profit cap for OpenAI, and some may consider that to be an ethical thing to do, but according to rumours this cap is at around $30 billion. Certainly does not look so ethical now, does it? Keep in mind that if AI applications scale the way they have been over the past couple of months, OpenAI could achieve financial gains that are far beyond the incredible capped number, but time will tell. Perhaps the most positive thing from this segment was Sam's openness to collaborate with other players in the market and work as a collective towards a better future. So, having mentioned the sky-high rumoured figures, Altman was straight away asked a very important question. Is he worried that money and power may corrupt him? Sam was very honest in his response, saying that of course he is worried. He is looking for the decisions regarding AI technology to become increasingly more democratic over time, but they have not yet found a way on how to achieve this. He claims that part of the reason for deploying AI in the way they have done is to allow the world time to adapt and to reflect on the technology. He calls for regulations to be passed and for institutions to come up with new norms so that people could be working this out together. He then references AI safety specialists that were against the idea, for example the previously mentioned Eliza Yudkowsky, but hopes that by slowly introducing AI the way they have done, the world will be able to adapt. Altman believes that one person in control of this technology would be a terrible idea. He himself does not want any special treatment or super voting rights on future decisions and believes that democratic process is a must. Fridman is then curious to find out whether an AGI could successfully manage a society based on centralized planning, similar to what the former Soviet Union looked like, and Altman's answer is again worrying. He claims that this way of doing things would be perfect for a super intelligent AGI. He would expect the artificial general intelligence system to be better, but not as good as what 100 or 1,000 AGIs could do within a liberal democratic system. He believes that there may be competition between different artificial intelligence systems talking to each other in the future. Does that sound like a reasonable solution to you? Let us know in the comments. Our view is that collectively as humans, we struggle to create stability and balance within societies ourselves. We have empathy towards each other and many of our decisions are based on emotion. Would you be okay with a dictatorship that is only relying on logic and ignores the human aspect of things? We certainly wouldn't. Our emotions are what makes us human, and this must be preserved. Sam Altman was asked if things were to get out of hand, is there a kill switch for the current version of Chat GPT, and he reassured Lex that it is absolutely possible at the current state of the model. But what if AI recognizes that and decides to take this option away in the future? The pair then goes on to discuss the terrible use cases by those that have tried the platform so far. OpenAI do recognize this as being a problem and are working on it through testing. Sam Altman believes that the collective intelligence and creativity of the world will beat OpenAI and all of the specialists they can hire. Therefore, they have rolled out the program in a way where they can make changes. At the latter stages of the interview, Lex and Sam discussed the Silicon Valley Bank's collapse, which is the second largest bank closure in US history. Altman then provided his brief explanation as to why he believes it failed. His argument is that SVB met its demise due to incentive misalignment. He points out the fact that things in the world change very quickly and claims that our industry experts and leaders often know very little and are too slow to adapt. He wants OpenAI to be quick on their feet and have the ability to adapt to changes swiftly, which is part of the reason as to why they are deploying AI systems really early while they are weaker, so that people have as much time as possible to adapt to them too. He believes that the world would not be ready to go from having no AGI to having a super powerful one appearing out of the blue. With Sam Altman pointing out that the world often changes quicker than what our institutions can adapt to, is he going to be able to see through this issue for his own company, or is he going to be another leader that knows too little until it's too late? When it comes to AI, unlike Silicon Valley Bank's collapse, we are not just talking about money here. Humanity's existence might be the ultimate price to pay.